Think your grandparents' money advice is as outdated as their flip phones? Think again. Just like flip phones are making a comeback, we're about to uncover recession-proof strategies that have stood the test of time. Your financial future called. It wants you to listen up.
In a world where chaos seems to reign supreme, where uncertainty lurks around every corner, and financial markets are now more unpredictable than ever, there's one place you can turn to find clarity and control. Welcome to the Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast.
Hey, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Amanda.
Join us as we dive deep in the world of personal and business finance
to assist you in navigating through the chaos and building the financial future you deserve.
We believe when conventional financial thinking doesn't get you where you want to go,
you need wealth wisdom.
So if you're ready to take control of your financial destiny,
tune in to the Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast.
Because in a chaotic world, your money shouldn't be.
Subscribe now and never miss an episode.
Okay, welcome back, time travelers of the financial world. We have had an awesome month of talking about fortitude and resilience. We have talked about building your money muscles, creating financial bunkers, making sure your retirement funds are safe, secure, ready for you, and also how you can build safely and securely no matter what's going to happen on the stock market and all those things, how much financial resilience is important and all those things. Today, we're going to fire up the DeLorean and head back in time to learn from the financial battles of the past. So cue the music. We're headed back in time. You know that song? And where we're going, we don't need roads, but we definitely need some solid money smarts. Yeah, big fan of Back to the Future. Watched it so many times as a kid. But let's we're not just going to go back to 1985 or even 65 or whatever it was. Picture this, it's 1929. The stock market is crashing harder than a toddler after a sugar rush. And it's your great grandpa who's wondering if his money is safe under his mattress or buried in his backyard. And then we time travel back into the actual future, right, to 2008. And your parents are watching their home values sink faster than the Titanic. Now, these might sound like financial horror stories, but here's the kicker. In every economic downturn, there were people who didn't just survive, they thrived. And no, they didn't have some crystal ball or some secret money tree or secret algorithm that helped them predict it or anything like that. They had something better, tried and true strategies that work in any economy. We're going to break it down as the 3 R's of recession resilience. But before you get there, I want to share a special invitation with you. Lots of people right now are feeling scared that a recession is coming and they don't know what to do. We're going to talk a little bit today. But there's a lot of, people have been saying a recession is coming for like 4 years. It's, September 2024. They've been saying it since like March of 2020, right? We have no idea what's going to come. But even if you're not sure of that, you might feel frustrated by like conflicting financial advice in general. Might not be sure how you can take control of your money. So I want to invite you to a revolutionary 1-hour seminar that I'm doing. Hopefully challenge everything you thought you knew about building wealth. In this seminar, you're going to discover unconventional strategies for financial independence, learn how to create a personalized financial ecosystem that works for you, not Wall Street. So whether you're a savvy professional, an aspiring entrepreneur, a time-tested business owner, this strategy, I believe, is going to transform your financial future. I had this similar kind of transformation about 11 years ago. And it's about time that I do a 1-hour experience to help people have a similar transformation. So you can go check it out, sign up, reserve your time at www.wealthwisdomfp.com/seminar. You can secure your spot. We're doing the same seminar 6 different times. You might have already missed one or so, but we would love to see you there. And here's a challenge. Also think about someone that you could share this link with. Maybe someone that you think might be concerned about the economy, or they've been telling you they've been hearing all this different financial advice. They're not sure where to go. Or maybe they're a huge fan of one particular financial guru and you want them to hear a different perspective. I'd love for you to share it with them so that together we can reclaim our financial power one household at a time. So don't miss out. I believe your future self will thank you. Again, that website is wealthwisdomfp.com/seminar. We'll put it in the show notes. So you can click right there, find your spot, get registered. We would love to see you there. I'm putting it out there that if this isn't transformational for you, I want you to call me out on it, because I'm making an experience, a fun time that also might share some things with you that you won't hear anywhere else, or maybe only in somewhat outdated kind of ways. Okay. Now back to the 3 R's of recession resilience. The first one is reserves. For this one, we're going to go back to the Great Depression. Those who had cash savings were kings during that time. They could buy assets at fire sale prices while others were selling their shoes. Today's lesson in 2024 and beyond: build an emergency fund that would make Scrooge McDuck jealous. But be careful where you put those reserves. Too many people are holding reserves in brokerage accounts. They're using index funds or ETFs. Those reserves might not be as protected as they think. If they're using money market funds, they could be paying fees and getting too low of APY to keep their cash in an investment firm. So for example, James Cash Penney, founder of J.C. Penney, had grown the department store chain to open its 1,252nd store in 1929, just 2 weeks before the stock market crashed. In 1929, J.C. Penney had the equivalent of $3.37 billion of gross revenue. And by the time of James Penney's death in 1979, revenue increased to an equivalent of $37.6 billion, 10x, right? How did they survive when so many other companies failed in the 1930s? I read that the store, all the J.C. Penney stores all across the nation, all 1,200 plus of them, they didn't accept credit. You've probably seen in like those old timey shows where they go into like the corner store and they'd be like, put it on my account, and they'd sell the account later. Not at J.C. Penney. They only took cash for their goods, meaning the company had great reserves and no accounts receivable. Also, James kept personal reserves, and he actually used loans from his personal life insurance to meet payroll in his business and keep the company going. By the beginning of the 1940s, that decade from 1929 to the 1940s, J.C. Penney had more stores, not less. That's the power of having reserves, especially when no one else does. And for many communities during that decade plus, the J.C. Penney store became a beacon of light in a very dark decade, a place where people could actually keep their jobs and keep working, and people could still find goods at good prices and all those kind of things. So that's the first one, reserves. Very important there. If you stop listening now, like that's probably the most important thing you can do to prepare for a recession. But if you're like, okay, I'm in, I'll build reserves, I'll be patient, I know I can use those reserves, what else could I do? That's where we get to number 2, reduce. It's not going to be what you think it is. In the 1970s, when inflation was higher than a hippie at Woodstock, people learned to live lean. They discovered the difference between needs and wants faster than you can say Disco Inferno. The lesson, sure, trim the fat from your budget now before life forces you to do that. So now, but this one is difficult, and we don't want to be all judgy. So many people in 2024 have already reduced so much that they don't know any other ways to cut expenses. You can only tighten your belt so much before it cuts off circulation. Am I right? But if you think back to the 1970s, one major advantage that people had that's often lacking now is relational capital. When past recessions hit, people use their relationships to swap, barter, borrow, pool their resources, save lots of money on all kinds of things, from repairs to childcare and all kinds of services, right? If you're paying for childcare, like a recession hits, maybe somebody in your community loses their job. Now they can help do some childcare for all the kids in the neighborhood. That would have totally happened in the 1970s. How likely is that to happen now? We don't even know our neighbors, let alone trust them to watch our kids, right? So why not start building some relationships with your neighbors? So then when the next recession hits, you can trade rather than purchase on a credit card. This is also helpful if the recession includes layoffs, right? It's a lot easier also to find a new job when you know a lot of people already, right? When it comes to job hunting, it's not, always your experience or what you know or what your resume looks like. It's also who you know and what doors they can open for you. So start building that relational capital. So what I want you to think of, sure, reduce if you need to, right? Like if you want to, we're going to come back and talk about that a little bit more. But think of it, reduce going to money to solve your problems and start thinking about relationships as ways people can solve your problems. Let me say that again. Reduce using money to solve problems and rely more on relationships. So we got reserves, reduce, and the number 3 is reinvent. For this one, we're going to go to the 2008 recession. Many people found new ways to make money when traditional jobs evaporated. They became the side hustle heroes of their time. The lesson? Diversify your income streams like you're planting a financial victory garden. But be careful here. Too many people spend too much money on unprofitable side hustles. Start with something you can do for free or cheap and build slowly. Just like there are no get-rich-quick schemes with financial products, the best businesses grow slowly at first and prove themselves, make sure they have a proven profitability strategy, and then grow more rapidly after that. So there's no get-rich-quick schemes. There's also no get-profit-quick schemes in the business world. Now, but reinvention doesn't also mean that you have to go start a business or something. It also doesn't mean you need a total transformation of who you are and what you do. Maybe you start to learn more about AI so that the next job in your industry, you can bring those skills to that job. Maybe you take a free online course about project management so that you're able to become a manager. Or maybe you think about how you'd like to develop personally and consider how that might increase your professional development as well. Reinvention is another reason why it's good to have reserves. You're able to give yourself time maybe to heal from that toxic work environment, the space to network and find a great opportunity, build those relationships, and the funds to avoid the debt trap that's going to be so hard to get out of if you get into it between jobs. So we got it. Reserves, reduce, and reinvent. These are not just dusty old relics. They are strategies that can be repurposed in any generation to turn any recession into infinite possibilities to thrive, not just survive. Yet, they aren't the full story. Stay tuned after the commercial break for the flip side.
Ready to take the next step towards securing your financial future? Whether you're planning for retirement, saving for your dream home, or you just want to make your money work harder for you, the team at Wealth Wisdom Financial are ready to assist you. And now, it's easier than ever to see how we might give you a boost on your financial journey.
Schedule a 15-minute discovery call with one of us today.
And let's discuss your questions and your financial goals together.
Don't wait any longer. Your financial freedom awaits. Schedule your discovery call at www.wealthwisdomfp.com/call.
Now, I can totally hear some of you thinking in your heads, but things are different now. We have smartphones and crypto and TikTok financial gurus. Sure, the packaging might be different, but the principles are the same. It's like comparing your grandma's apple pie to an apple-flavored energy bar. One's got a whole lot more processing, but the core ingredient hasn't changed. Others might argue, but I don't have extra money to save. We're going back to this reducing expenses, kind of thing. I totally get it. Finding extra cash right now can feel like trying to squeeze water from a stone. But remember, even our Depression-era ancestors found ways to scrimp and save. So here's my number 1 tip. It's to start small. Before you make that next one-click purchase, maybe you ask your neighbor if you could borrow theirs instead, or visit a local thrift store to nab something even better and maybe meet somebody in your community. Also, see our episode from last month titled Buying Lattes versus Everything Else. I'll put that link in the show notes too, for the types of major decisions that can have an even bigger impact on your daily latte that you might skimp from. Some time and effort, though, on your financial life right now could make a huge difference for you over the next years and for the next 20 years. You don't have to do everything, but please, for your own sake, do something. The small action you take today to build reserves, to reduce spending through relationships, and to reinvent could mean the difference between being unhoused and being able to retire comfortably. And I don't feel like I'm exaggerating there. Here's the deal, folks. Economic cycles are like seasons. Winter always comes, but so does spring. The key is to prepare for the cold while it's sunny out. By learning from the past, we're not just surviving, we're setting ourselves up to thrive. So build those reserves, reduce unnecessary expenses by having real relationships, and start looking for ways to reinvent yourself. Do this, and you'll be the one selling umbrellas when it starts raining instead of scrambling for cover. Remember, financial resilience is not about predicting the future. It's about being prepared for whatever comes your way. And with these timeless strategies in your pocket, you're going to be ready to weather any financial storm, be it a gentle drizzle or a category 5 hurricane. And if you are just joining us, you haven't been here through all the financial resilience episodes, go back and check them out. We started the month with Perry Marshall sharing about building resilience through 80/20 and becoming a break glass and kind of an emergency kind of business owner. And then we talked about as you're building your wealth, how you might build it from a strong foundation, from a financial fortress that you can stand strong on no matter when or if a recession hits. And then we talked about how you might take your retirement money that you've already built, if you're in that stage of life, and make sure that it's able to withstand whatever journey you're going to be going on in retirement and whatever journey the economy goes on when you're in retirement. Because honestly, we don't want you going back to work. And it's also going to be hard to find a job if there's a recession and you're, over 60 and all those kind of things. And then today we kind of gave you these 3 high-level ideas for, becoming recession resilient. And next time, we're actually going to start talking about how you can create financial systems that can kind of bring these things together and help you build a system that you can rely on no matter how busy it gets, no matter how much your company scales and grows, no matter how much time you want to spend on the beach. The system is working for you. Be sure you hit subscribe. Don't miss that next episode. It kind of takes this resilience and starts building on top of it. Our theme next month is going to be like values and kindness. And we want you to be able to rely on your values financially, but also like be kind to yourself and don't beat yourself up. And systems can really help you with that. Okay, so I shared a lot today. Number one thing I would love for you to do is go register, save your spot for the seminars that we're doing. I'm honestly putting a lot of time and effort into this so that people have a transformational moment and they can look back to that 1 hour and say, things are different now in a really good way because of that 1 hour that I spent. So go register, find your time. And if you don't find it valuable, I want you to call me out on it. And then we look forward to seeing you there. Yeah, that's it for today. Until we talk to you next time, keep an eye on your wallet and another one on the lessons of history. We hope that you live long and profit. The topics presented in this podcast are for general information only and not for the purposes of providing legal, accounting, or investment advice. On such matters, please consult a professional who knows your specific situation.